Everybody loves the new game, Old World. Everybody wants to learn about how Adam, Pete, and Danny told me that Old World charm starts now.
G'day everyone and welcome to another episode of that Old World Charm. Sorry it was a little delinquent of me, but I did have to go over to the United States and do some streaming for Games Workshop. And the other two delinquents that are on this show were unable to get their shit together enough to record an episode while I was gone.
I was busy. I was being a dad and traveling the world.
Sure you were. Winning events and shit as well is what she was just doing.
Win adjacent.
Yeah, correct. And,
I got the biggest trophy, I guess.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
there is a school we come from where I prescribe to where Ren Man was the most important thing to win for the longest time. If anybody remembers back in days of yore, Renaissance player, the Renaissance Award was the person who had the combined best sports battle points and painting score. So it was the trippy threats, so to speak. And back in the day, that was what we all vied for, wanting to be the best of all worlds. I call it the Hugh Jackman Award now.
It's a beautiful thing. And it's always been
an award. He's a beautiful man.
It's an award that I've never cared about until I won it twice in a row. And now I'm like, well, maybe it does mean something. Maybe
I can build a whole personality of this.
I can build a whole personality about being almost the best general, but being pretty good at everything else.
That's right. What's better than amazing knowledge about one thing? Cursory knowledge of many things.
Yeah, and it means I can bring the fluffy lists I love, or mostly fluffy, with just like a 280 point.
Oh yeah, so fluffy. You're practically a narrative player.
Pretty much.
Anyway, this is episode 61, I believe, of that Old World Charm. My name's Adam Camilleri. I'm joined currently by Peter the Falcon. Hope to be soon joined by the man of meat himself, Danny McDevitt. We'll see if he's able to jump in and join us. But we are here to discuss the run that Peter had over at a magnificent event in Toronto with our lovely, brother from another podcast, Val Heffelfinger, or Simon as we know him.
Pew, 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 pew.
Now, this course is going to be a two-part podcast. We've got a bunch of Patreon questions to answer over on the other side. If you're interested in that goodness, come over to that Old World Charm over on Patreon and jump on in. Peter, my baby, my sugar, my honey, what did you play, you fluffy fluff bunny, you?
Well, let's talk about the event first. So it's TGX.
Oh, yeah. Let's not turn people off the podcast just yet.
It's TGX, the Toronto Gaming Expo. It's like a little gaming convention that they run every year. It has a pretty large Warhammer event. A 40K event. I believe this year they switched it to teams. I believe it was a singles event prior to that. Maybe last year they did teams as well, but it was a teams event this year that had, a shit ton of people show up. They had a pretty decent sized AOS event and a couple other games were on the go. And then finally we had our Old World GT. I believe last year they had about 30 people show up. This year we only had a little over 20, which was disappointing. I was a last-minute entrant. Val had talked to me a few times about possibly going, but as a single dad, it's hard for me to just fly across the country on a whim. However, things kind of lined up last minute, and I hopped on a flight and made my way over. It used the exact same rules as the last event that I went to that I got best overall at, in the square-based Toronto. So, 20-0 system. You can score basically 17 points on kill points and differential, and then there's like a 3-point swing that you get from secondaries, and there's also an additional 1 point tiebreaker for a secret objective. So it was it's a really interesting event. It kind of changes how you make your lists. The other thing is that it was a 2,200 point event instead of 2,000. So you get a couple extra toys to play with.
Nice. And looks like Danny has joined us. Hello, Danny boy.
Oh, look at him.
He's what up, guys?
Oh my God. And he's way more into this than we are.
hugely more into this, which is good. We need a little bit of enthusiasm.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear about your basically trip, from the Shire, where you live, Peter, to Mordor, which is like the Toronto area, right? That's where that you went for this.
Pretty much. I think most Canadians would call Toronto Mordor, and they wouldn't be
not Quebec.
Well, I think like Northern Ontario, Northern Quebec is definitely more Mordor than Toronto is. Toronto's mostly fine.
I often, think of Canadians thinking of, so this is Longbow, Canadians thinking of Quebec as kind of a Lothlorien, mystical,
Oh no, we hate it.
Yeah, no, it's more like in The Hobbit, which was the place that had the baddies in it? Dimwood?
Mirkwood?
Mirkwood, that would.
Yeah, oh yeah, it like Northern Quebec is mostly forests and spiders. So
it's more accurate.
Yeah. And barrel riding. Don't forget all the barrel riding.
Correct.
Tons of barrel riding.
They often walk past each other and just nod and say the necromancer has returned and stuff like that.
Also, super large old world community there. I think
it's an awesome community, actually. Yeah,
definitely a big AOS community in Quebec. I don't know if old world actually exists there other than 4 people, but.
There you go. Well, you were just about to tell us what you took, mate.
Yes. So last time I went to an event like this, I brought the Orcs and Goblins. This time, because I was on short notice, and because I haven't played Cathay basically since I play tested Cathay like a million years ago, I was like, I'm bringing Cathay. I don't care what anybody thinks. I already got a best overall. I don't care about sportsmanship any longer. So I made like 6 Cathay lists that got progressively less disgusting like the closer we got to the event because I started feeling bad.
Good.
And then eventually I took a like half and half. It was like half disgusting, half I took a Sentinel. Like
okay. So you took disgusting, then you took out like 2 units and dumped yourself down with a Sentinel.
Yeah. So like the thing about this event that's really important when you're considering things, and it's why something like Skaven can do really well in it, or like Vampire Counts who are just going to do well, period, is because there's like a heavier tinge on secondary scores. Having a faction that's good at scoring secondaries or that can overwhelm secondaries can give you a leg up. That's why I did quite well with Orcs and Goblins the last time. So my initial Cathay lists had like bigger blocks of either Jade Warriors or Jade Lancers. The other thing about this was I was kind of hamstringing myself to what Val owned because I didn't want to fly with my Cathay army, not just because it's very poorly painted still, but also because flying with Sky Lanterns just feels like a nightmare to me.
A mistake, yes.
And Val doesn't like. Val has a quite a nicely painted army, but he doesn't have a ton of options. So my initial lists had, blocks of like 20 or 30 Jade Warriors, and then like a bigger block of Lancers, and then either the double Shug Lord or Miao Ying, and then character Lantern, another Lantern, and it was about like being able to keep scoring objectives and then blow people off the board with the Lanterns and the cannons. Eventually, I was just like, I really want to run a Granite Sentinel. I think that they're kind of neat and they're just a beautiful model to have on the table. So my list that I ended up with was Miao Ying because she's awesome and she's just fun to play on the table. A strategist in a Lantern with the Dragonfire bombs and a Sky Lantern bomb, and then Armored Meteoric Iron and a Talisman of Protection. So he's got that double save. 2 units of 7 Jade Lancers, one of them Celestial Guard because of Miao Ying. Both of them with Drilled, both of them with a Ring of Jet on their champion. A unit of 12 Jade Warriors with the Celestial upgrade, and then the Icon of Heavenly Fury to shut off flying for a turn. 2 cannons, a Granite Sentinel, and a plain Jane Sky Lantern with Sky Crane guns, no upgrades on it whatsoever. And that was my list. And both sets of Jade Lancers do have Ambushers, so it's a list that only has like 4 drops.
Nice. So, quick question then. How did that pay off? How many times did you go first or second?
I went first in all but one of my games, I believe.
Wow. Was that one of the ones you lost?
Yes, but it wasn't because I went It wasn't because I went second that I lost. I don't think going first would have helped in that matchup anyway.
No, irrefutable fact. Anyway, so what is the modus operandi here? What do you see as the game plan with this list versus a conventional Cathay list, if there is one?
Well, I mean, this is mostly a conventional Cathay list, other than that Sentinel is soaking up so many points.
I was giving you a chance to be a snowflake, but I guess you did.
Yeah, no, like basically it's like Miao Ying's gonna start the game depending on what my opponents got for trouble. Meow will start with the Jade Warriors, kind of like in a central position in your deployment zone to hold an objective and wait to see what your opponent's going to do, especially if they've got like a lot of shooting. Jade Lancers go in and ambush, the idea being because you can manipulate ambush so well, like you can pretty much guarantee if they come on the board or not, turn to turn.
Sure.
And you can do real janky stuff with drilled with them when they come in off the board edge to just like get a lot of distance to blast something with a ring of jet immediately. Sky Lanterns are Sky Lanterns. I kind of wish I had the points to do both with Dragonfire bombs. Sky Lantern crane guns are great. I find just having one of them though, like it's not nearly as effective. I wish I could have had the Dragonfire bombs and Sky Lantern bombs on both. I just didn't have the points because I was spending so many on a Sentinel. Sentinel was supposed to be like a backline protector that could possibly kill like a decent monster if it came at me. But like more importantly, I wanted it to soak cannon shots if I played against cannons because it ignores the multi-wound. So I could kind of just like shove it in the face of multiple cannons for a while and keep like Meow protected or my own cannons protected from it by like body blocking. Yeah, that's kind of it. And it more or less what I wanted to have happened. I kind of the only thing that I don't like about the list, and it is like it doesn't play the secondary game well against anybody that's trying to play the secondary game well. Like anybody like vampires or beastmen or something that can hold multiple objectives for long periods of time and kind of bully objectives. Like I can't clear an objective quick.
Yeah.
I can usually do one.
Cathay gets to hold like one objective all game if it wants, right? You just chuck your core unit on the one closest you to DZ.
Pretty much.
That's it. That's all you get from secondaries, which is a good thing, a good little balancing thing to have. Not saying that like you holding more objectives is going to give you a win versus Cathay, but it'll get you a lot closer than just sick. Oh yeah, I got blown up because I walked at you.
And like, there's always the chance that the strategist lantern it will get a ridiculous bomb off, and then all of a sudden you've cleared off a second objective. But like it's going to take time. Anybody that's just like planting 100 guys on 3 objectives, like I just have to say I've lost the secondary game. Right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you have to refocus. And unlike other armies, you just have the option. Yeah, you just get to pull another lever, right? Some people don't have another lever for that. But let us jump into your games. You've already told us about the objectives. You've already told us about the missions. How many games?
It was 5 games, 5 rounds.
Nice. Jump on in, mate. Take it away.
Okay. So if you listen to the episode we did on SBTO, I mentioned how like all of my matchups were insanely hard and really frustrating because I kept getting paired up after getting paired down. And that mostly happened here as well, except for my first game. So my first game, I get set up and I'm playing against a Nikolai Schiel, who's running an Empire of Man list. And this is like, Nikolai was awesome, by the way. He's a really great opponent. I really enjoyed my game against him, but he was very much playing a list that like he lost in the list building phase against me. He had 3 units of state troops, a small like a unit of archers with scouts, and then he had like a tiny unit of outriders, some demigriff knights, a unit of inner circle knights with the like no fly banner, 2 cannons and a steam tank. And this was like the one matchup where the Sentinel actually did anything in this event. The rest of the matchups, it was just a lodestone. But the Sentinel was kind of just able to march directly at his cannons and his steam tank and really block off lines of sight and do stuff. The lanterns just blew up everything. I think turn 1, I killed his general because his general was a captain of the Empire on a Griffin, but he didn't give it any ward saves or anything.
Oh.
So, like, 2
Yikes.
cannon shots, he died, and then it was. I think I had to put like 1 sky crane gun into him to finish him. But yeah, so he lost his general turn 1, and that really kind of made everything super easy for me. Yeah, there's not much to say. Like, I just kind of, I think the end of the game, he had only his steam tank left with like 1 wound remaining.
Dang.
So I just kind of killed stuff.
Decisive, Peter.
Yeah, like he had a couple moments with his Wizard Lord. He had a Wizard Lord on foot with the Tome of Midnight and Necromancy, where he was kind of able to do some like board control, which slowed me down a little bit. But yeah, I just kind of railroaded him. The everything went off the way it was supposed to. I think I terrored off a couple things off the board with the Sentinel as well. So just like a pretty quick and easy game. But because of that, I had a 19-1 win. I knew that my game 2 was going to be against a pretty tough opponent. There were a number of high elf players here that had gotten like 19 1s and 20 0s, and that's who I was really looking to play against.
Yep.
But the one matchup that I didn't want also went 19-1, and that was Brett Gutterson, who's like
not Gutterson. What a
he's
name.
like the best vampire count player in Canada right now. Not like there's like a huge swath of them, but
his name is exactly right. His name is so cool. He has to be the best at something.
And he's a very good player. And he was like the one matchup I kind of didn't want because I put all these points into the stupid Sentinel and not into bombs and stuff. I knew this matchup was probably like a draw for me or like an 11-9 either way.
Yeah.
So Brett's list, like A, he's a great player, so I know he's not going to make a ton of mistakes. B, his list is just good. Like it's Master Necromancer on a Mortis engine, level 3, but he's not his general, which is really important for this because I can snipe that guy pretty quickly if he is. He's got a second Master Necro on foot with the Cloak of Mist of Shadows, so he's like ethereal. 2 Tomb Banshees. He's got a White Lord with the Banner of the Barrows, so whatever unit he's in is always hitting on a 3+. A unit of Crypt Ghouls, like a big 17-man unit. A unit of like 30 Graveguard with the Standard of Hellish Vigor and MR1, 3x20 zombies, a Corpse Cart, and then a big block of 10 Hex Wraiths.
Sounds like too much for you to chew, mate. That's what it sounds like.
Well, it was a lot to chew, but I knew that if I could kill his Mortis engine, and then pick up the Hex Wraiths, I probably have a really easy game. Well, not an easy game, but I probably have a game into him. That was kind of my goal. I knew I wasn't going to win secondaries. Also, in this, something to understand is I got in to Toronto at like 2 a.m., so I was only running on like 4 hours sleep, and I got really confused at this point and forgot how secondaries were working in the event and that it was an all or nothing thing because I just got out of a German comp event where secondaries just like kept adding up no matter what. And this mission had, I think it was Strategic Objectives 3 and Baggage Train. And there came a point, and this worked out for me anyway, but there came a point where Brett pulled this shenanigan where he flew his Hex Raves into my backline where they technically couldn't fit, but because they were because they were in marching column, he was able to do like a 360 turn and just snuggle into where my baggage train was and start to destroy it. It was behind my line, so like I had the opportunity to try to save the baggage train because I do have a ton of magic missiles in my list.
Sure.
If I get the right spells, like Miao Ying has 3 usually, and then I've got the 2 rings. So he dropped them back there. On my turn, I took Meow out of the unit so that she had line of sight on the Hex Raids. I brought my 2 Jade Lancer units out of ambush behind my lines, which I didn't really want to do. I kind of wanted to put one behind his lines because I thought I had an opportunity to to take out his corpse cart and his ghouls that way, but I needed to finish this off. And I ended up blasting him with everything, and Meow like super whiffed. I think she only got off one of her spells, if that. I did end up killing like 7 of the hex wraiths, so if I'd killed one more, he wouldn't have been able to destroy my baggage train. But he was able to like destroy it and then kind of run away, but he didn't have a lot of spots to go to. So on the next turn, I was able to finish them off by like drilling my lancers around a building and zapping them.
Yep.
So that was a big point swing for me. That kind of brought us into like a draw situation because he was definitely winning on secondary. Then I was really trying to hold up his Graveguard. We got near, I think it was like turn 4 or so. I really needed to hold his Graveguard in the middle of the table so because he was kind of slowly pincering me in. So I did end up sending the Jade Sentinel, the Granite Sentinel into them along with my Shigingen General that I have in the list.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like a level 1. He also had a magic missile. And they fought the Graveguard, and the Sentinel just like whiffed like he always does. I think I killed like 2 Graveguard and dude won combat by 1,000,000. But I managed to like stand my ground and use the Sentinel's ability to, Implacable, so he doesn't have to move if he loses combat once.
Yep.
So I managed to pop that, so they got held in the middle of the board. Brett screamed the Sentinel to death on the next turn, but which sucked because it was like a huge point swing, but at the same time, it kept his Graveguard like where they were. He didn't get to do like an overrun or anything. And then we got into turn
MVP.
5. I wasn't quite sure.
MVP Sentinel. Just putting it out there.
Well, he sucked. He sucked, dude. He's like, I mean, my shooting in this game, other than that magic missile phase, was also quite bad. Like that, his Mortis engine survived on 1 wound, basically from turn 1 forward. Like I kept blasting it down to 1 wound, and then he'd heal like 2 of them, and then I'd only do 2 wounds afterwards.
When does a game like this happen before? Jeez,
so
where someone's best unit is on 1 wound for like 6 fucking turns.
I did end up killing the Mortis engine. So now I was like, I feel like we're like around a 10-10. Brett and I are talking about it. He thinks it's an 11-9 for him. He's wondering if we just want to call it there because he knows he's not going to. He's like, he told me he figured he would kill my Shugenge General. And he was quite sure there was something that he thought I was going to kill, and that would kind of be it. And I was like, well, let's play it out. Like we talked about it a little bit because like we knew what was important. And I also knew he wouldn't be able to kill my Shugenge General unless something terrible happened. And anyway, so we got to the point at the end of the game where I need to. Oh no, his Mortis engine was still alive at this point. That was what it was. He was pretty sure I was going to kill it. And we kind of did some points up and figured it would be 11-9 if he killed my Shugenge General. And I was like, I don't think you can kill him. Anyway, so I shot him with one of my cannons, the Mortis engine, and my cannon destroyed itself. I misfired and then re-rolled into another misfire and then rolled a 1 and he died. So then it's like, well, that sucks. I still managed to pick off the Mortis engine with my balloons, but that wasn't what I wanted to use my balloons for. He hits my Shugenge General with the Graveguard. I challenge him. He wins combat. I flee, but then I just rally the next turn. And then when we tally up the points, I beat him on kill points by like I think a little over 300.
Yep.
And then he won the secondary. So he ends up winning the game with an 11-9. If I hadn't lost my cannon, then it's a 10-10 draw. So me missing my cannon loses the game. It was a really great match. Brett's a great guy. And it was just like, because I took the Sentinel, like looking at that Sentinel, I was like, this is going to be the thing that loses me this match. I kind of feel like it did, but like beggars can't be choosers.
If you just compare surnames, it's his surname is easily 1 differential better than yours. I'm sorry, mate.
I mean, it is what it is. But it was a great game. I think there was a point where I got confused on secondaries, and if I hadn't been, I probably would have made a couple slightly different decisions, but it wasn't anything. I didn't I didn't blunder or anything. And he and I talked a lot about that match afterwards, and neither of us felt like the other person made any critical errors. It was kind of just dice.
Well, all I'm saying is that you did fine, mate. It just wouldn't have mattered. They would have gone down to like the 5th countback thing, like primary, secondary stuff, and then it would have been like surname, and it would have been 11-9 anyway, mate. Don't worry about it.
So I get my loss. So now I'm like, okay, I'm 1-1. This is great. I'll get an easy match going into day 2, and it'll be fine. I'll finally get to rest because I was exhausted at this point. And instead, I draw another member of the WTC Team Canada, another amazing player, Danny Stewart on Skaven.
Was this just a WTC scrimmage that you went to? Or?
It felt like it. It honestly did. So because of the 5 games I played, 3 of them were against people that I've been practicing WTC with. And then one of them is a person who's like a prospective player. So it was like, after my first game, it was like, I'm not getting any easy outs. I keep getting paired up. And that's what happened with Danny. So Danny was on a win and a draw. But because I had a lot of battle points, I ended up going into him. And this match was another one where like I felt like I was favored. Danny also felt like I was favored, but it was going to be tight because he just has so many models and like one bad turn and I'm not able to kill enough anymore. And that's kind of how this played out. So Danny's list, it's kind of all about secondaries and magic missiles. He's got a Gracier on a bell with elementalism, Storm Demon, and a Ruby Ring, so he could potentially have 4 magic missiles on that Gracier. A Plague Priest on a Plague Sensor with the Talisman of Protection, a Plague Priest on a Plague Sensor with the on a Furnace with the Warpstone Amulet, 2 units of 30 Clan Rats with Rattling Guns, 2 smaller units of Giant Rats, a big block of Plague Monks with the Swift Stride, and 2 HBAs, Hell Pit Abominations. Once again, this is a matchup where I know I'm not going to win secondary, so I'm not even trying.
Just going to take a moment to say that list is sick.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of wounds. If I'd brought 3 cannons, I'd probably just dummy them, like my original list.
Yeah, because you have enough time to...
Well, and you can pick out all of those bells.
Right? Exactly right. You pick out all the bells and you just be like, well, cool. In 3 turns, I've likely got 2 of the bells down because I've shot 4 times. Stop shooting.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So, and instead, what ends up happening is like he deploys, he understands the concept. He deploys with his abominations kind of like blocking all 3 bells and sensors so that if I cannon shot, I have to target the abominations.
Yep.
Which is fine. I took my secret objective was kill all the monsters because I kind of figured he was going to do that. So because HPAs possibly survive everything, it does take me, I think, almost 3 turns to kill both of them with just like max cannon shots going into them. I've started to wound one of the sensors, but he's like slowly getting closer and closer to me. On my turn, I think it was my turn 3, I'd held one of my night units. No, this was happened on turn 2. So I blew up one of the abominations on turn 1. Turn 2, I had the other one almost dead. And I brought in from ambush my 2 units of knights lancers. One of them I brought kind of in on my flank to finish off a unit of clan rats that I'd hit pretty hard with one of my lanterns. The other one I put way behind his line because I saw an angle. He just had like one of those small units of giant rats holding his backfield objective. And I kind of did the math and was like, if I can kill that unit of rats either this turn or next turn, like I can start winning secondary and change how he has to play. And kind of force him to turn something around to deal with me. And so that's what I did. He caught it right away. I came on the board. I only ended up killing like 3 or 4 rats with the laser beam, which is fine. The other unit finishes off the unit of giant rats on the flank and puts a pretty big hurt on his big unit of clan rats that doesn't have a bell with it. So on his turn, he uses his warp stones to like get as big of a TMP as he possibly can so that he can try to deal with the knights. Gets it off, whips around, fails all his magic missiles until he casts Warp Lightning. And then he ends up killing 4 knights with the Warp Lightning. Like I failed my 6-up into a 6-up, and he just like rolled max damage and everything. And then I rolled, I was technically leadership 11, leadership 10 regardless, but I rolled like dub 6s on my panic. And then I rolled a 6 and a 5 on my flee, and I fled off the board, which just shouldn't have happened. The math wasn't good for that to happen, and he would have had to have still dealt with those knights on the back end. And that really kind of changed the dynamic of game because he was able to quickly the next turn TMP back into a good position to keep dealing with me. I ended up putting the Granite Sentinel into one of the plague sensors just to hold him up for a turn again. He easily killed the Sentinel because it's garbage. I think I killed like 6 clan rats with it, or plague monks, which was fine. Like killing 6 of them was good for combat res that turn. Yeah. I did manage to finish off one of the sensors by the end of the game, and he only had, I think, combined 7 clan rats remaining in his whole army, or 3 clan rats and 4 plague monks, because I just killed so much by the end. And on my last turn, if I'd gotten off any magic missiles, because he had like one of his bells was his bell was down to 2 or 3 wounds, and his other plague sensor that he had left was down to like 3 wounds. So any magic missile that I got off with Miao Ying, or with my Shigingen General, I win the game. Like I kill enough points that I win. I failed all of my magic missiles on the final turn. And then he'd killed one of my cannons. The other cannon whiffed, did nothing. It was basically like I just have to kill 3 rats from one of these 2 units or do 2 wounds to a bell, and I win. And instead I did 0 wounds on my final turn. And so he ended up. So I won on kill points, but because of secondaries, it's another one where I think when we tallied it up, he effectively won by like 50 points to get his 11-9.
I have to say, Skaven beating Cathay, even if it is my boy Peter, does spark joy. Even like the meta is healing.
It was a really great matchup. Like we talked a lot through it all. He put it all to that like one dice roll that like blew away that unit of knights. The math wasn't there. Danny and I are both very like probability oriented. So like we were doing the probability on everything we were doing. And it just at the end, he was like, you 100% won this game until that one thing happened. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it was a really great game. I can't, if I'm I knew I was playing my ass off. If I hadn't been, I would have felt bad about myself. Like I didn't feel like I made any critical errors or anything. Yeah. So that was good.
Very nice, dude.
So I'm 1-2 with Cathay.
Yeah.
Not feeling the best. I'm like, oh crap. I'm the worst player in the world, even with my 260 some odd point garbage unit. And go out drinking and partying, and then I don't want to do day 2. But I also have to because I don't want to be the guy that went 1 and 2 and dropped. But I was like super hungover and I hadn't slept for 2 days, basically. And I go in and I'm waiting for pairings, and I'm like, okay, I'm 1 and 2. There's no way I can get a hard matchup.
Why would you say that?
Why would you? What? Have you learned nothing?
I apparently didn't, because I end up getting paired. Now, first off, on paper, this matchup's amazing for me. But the guy I'm playing against, I will say this now, is like one of the most rules-attuned players I've ever played against. His name's Cleary Mooney. He's just like, he knows everything inside and out. He's just like a very efficient player. I don't feel like he makes many, if any, like critical, like mistakes play wise. Like when he loses games, it's because he brings stupid ass lists. If he brought something good, he would just win, in my opinion. And he's running Slayer Host, which is like an extraordinarily complicated list to play at 2,200 points. Yeah. And he had drawn Danny, the guy that had beaten me already in this event. I think he was. Yeah, he'd lost to High Elves. He'd beaten the Skaven player, and then he'd beaten somebody else. And he'd drawn Danny. So he was 1-1-1, and I'm 1-2. So I end up getting paired up into him. I've never played against Slayer Host other than for brief testing when the book came out, and it was not against somebody of Cleary's list building potential or anything like that. So I'm a little bit nervous going into it. What kind of jank does this guy have that I need to think about? I know basically has 800 points in his list that if I kill them, get me nothing. So I have to consider that. And it's a pressure list. I have to kill X amount of stuff before he gets to me.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm rolling for my spells, and the critical thing that basically gave me this game, in my opinion, was for my high magic caster, who I normally just took the magic missile from the Cathay spells on, or I took drain magic on. I decided to roll, and I got the spell that's difficult terrain over a large area, turns all terrain into difficult terrain.
Don't tell me this is the first game where this ability paid out.
Oh, 100%. So imagine if you have a cannon that reduces your opponent's movement speed by 1, and you have a spell that reduces their movement speed by 1, and their movement 3 units. And now Cleary's entire army is movement 1. He did have he did have a Bugman's chariot, but I killed it really early. And so he was movement 1 for the majority. So he had to do long bomb charges with Doom Seekers just to get movement, just to fail charges and get movement. Basically.
Yeah.
Because marching, he was only ever moving 2 inches. So that gave me lots of extra time to lay down heat. So when I first started, I apologized profusely to him because I was really out of it. I'm I'm going to make mistakes. I usually don't ask for takebacks. I'm going to try not to here, but and he was super kind and generous with me. He's an amazing player. There was one point where he gave me a take back that was I wouldn't say it's it would have changed the game completely, but it helped me a lot. I'd moved up my Sentinel, and then I'd shifted a Lantern so that I had line of sight on 2 Doom Seekers that he'd scouted near my cannons. And then the rest of his army, and then I moved my Sentinel again, basically, and blocked off that space. So I couldn't actually see anything with my Lantern. So when it came to the shooting phase, I went to target them. He's like, "Well, you don't have line of sight." I was like, "Oh man, that was never my intent. I'm really sorry." And he was super kind and let me remove the Sentinel back to where I'd actually wanted it to be. So that was he did not have to. And it basically cost him one of those Doom Seekers because the Lantern just picked it up. But this match, I started off super worried because he's such a good player, and I'm waiting for the jank to hit. And then my first Sky Lantern bomb goes off and kills, I think, almost all of his big Slayer unit. It just lands, direct hits, and 15 Slayers die. And I was like,
Ooh.
Okay, well, maybe this isn't so hard. And then it kind of clicked I don't care if these things don't give me points. I'm just going to kill all of them. And that's what I did. I tabled him. But it was a really violent game. There was a point where he did manage to have 6 Doom Seekers in my face. So the next turn, he was going to get off multiple charges. He possibly could have gotten some points back. And there's an off chance if everything goes his way, he kills Miao Ying, which I was not super keen on happening. And that happened to be the turn where Miao Ying got off all 3 of her magic missiles. And both units of Lancers got off their magic missiles, and I killed 5 of the 6 Doom Seekers. Just from that. Each magic missile picked up one. And so that kind of crippled, that finished the game there. He had that one chance to maybe bring it back, kill my general, make a game of things, and then it was over. And this is with an army that was all either MR, that was MR2. So the odds of me getting off all my spells, especially one of them that's cast on a 10. It was pretty big. So that really ended it for him. Anyway, Clear's a great player. I told him at the end, like, if you were playing Tomb Kings or literally anything else, I don't think I could beat you, just because he's such a solid guy. Yeah. And then I didn't give him best sport, and I 100% should have.
You piece of shit.
I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit.
But I mean, who did get best sports over that generosity performance? There must also have been absolute gent.
All of my opponents were gems. That's part of it. So I didn't have a game where I was annoyed or anything. Like, everybody was awesome with me. Danny's game I gave, because we get to pick 2 votes. I gave one for Danny's because it was such a tight game. Came right down to the wire. And then my final round opponent, because he was a gem too, even though his dice were godly.
Good old recency bias sports.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought about after was the recency bias. But my final match, round 5, I get paired into Wood Elves. And once again, I get paired up because coming into this final round, Sebastian Seville is the name of the player. He was 3-1 with his Wood Elves, and I was 2-2. But somebody has to get paired up, and it's always going to be me in any event that Val Heffelfinger runs, apparently.
Yep.
So Sebastian is...
That's one of the bylaws in his events.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he has
right under weighting pairings via awesomeness of surname is F over Peter.
So Sebastian's running double Glade Lord on Dragon. One of them's got the Armor of Destiny. The other one's got a Meteoric Iron and a Talisman of Protection. He's got a Spellsinger on foot that's level 1 with the Ruby Ring and Illusion. There's a lot of penalties to hit in this list. He's got 17 Glade Guard with the new Banner of Swirling Wind, so they're -1 to hit, and Arcane Bodkins. A unit of 15 Dryads to hold objectives. 2 units of 5 Glade Guard with True Flight arrows. 2 squads of 10 Deepwood Scouts with True Flight, and then a unit of 5 Sisters of the Thorn.
Okay. That's cute.
So this list, it's a bunch of ward saves and a bunch of penalties to hit. On paper, I feel like I'm advantaged unless he starts making ward saves. Secondaries on this one, I think it was 4 objectives and the central objective, a special feature. So we start this matchup. He deploys 1 dragon in a corner with his Sisters of the Thorn on a hill, and then everything else is in the other corner behind a forest that was already on the table, and then he had deployed his Wood Elf forest right beside it, so he had kind of a big block of forest in that he could hide behind. I kind of deploy mostly spread out. I've got a cannon on either end, so I've got full range of line of sight. I've got my lanterns, one lantern, the Dragonfire lantern, kind of aimed towards all of his juicy good stuff, the Glade Guard and everything else. The one with the big guns off to the side to try to pick off whatever I can. Maybe some.
I think so. Or something. I'll just get you to pause there. I think you hit on a very tactical and nuanced, actually very deep, tactical option there. In the fact that you should always point your cannons towards the juicy good stuff.
Yeah. And then Meow and her unit in the middle. And Meow is the reason why I won this game, because Sebastian and I could not understand how good his dice were basically from turn 2 forwards. Turn 1, I killed 1 unit of Deepwood Scouts with a lantern. And I just a bomb went off and they all died. And then I brought the other unit down to 3. So looked like a good start for me. His clapback, and I popped the no fly banner, so he kind of just left his dragons behind his lines because he couldn't really move them, and just kind of tried to protect himself from cannons. He made all 4 of his ward saves against my cannon shots. No, sorry, I didn't choose to double shoot. So he made both his ward saves on the cannon shots. His Sisters of Thorn made 6 of 6 ward saves on a magic missile I got off on them.
Hot. Wow.
And so on his turn, he kind of moved up. He put like 3 wounds on the Sentinel with just bow shots because I can't make a 5-up save for the life of me. Now my Sentinel, who was already garbage, that I was kind of hoping maybe holds up a dragon for half of a turn, is not even going to do that. So I just like bully my Sentinel up directly into his face because I'm like, we're just going to do it this way and just make you target that instead of anything else on my list. Shimmy some stuff around. My second shooting phase, once again, 2 direct cannon shots on dragons. He makes both his ward saves. I put another magic missile and a bunch of shots into his Sister of the Thorn. I kill 1 Sister of the Thorn. And we're just like, this is getting a little silly on the save side of things. His clapback, he charges my Shigingen General with the Sisters of the Thorn. Through my I charged him. Sorry, that was on turn 3 when I finally charged him. Between impact hits and my 6 attacks, I only killed I only killed 1 of them again. So he's lost 2 over probably 16 or 18 wounds. His dragons have taken no wounds. I've hit him with 6 cannon shots now. They've taken 0 wounds. It's looking really bad because now the pressure's on me and I've only killed 2 units of Deepwood Scouts. Turn 4, it's looking really bad. His bows go off. He kills my Sentinel. He puts 3 or 4 wounds on my Strategist in the balloon. And now I'm like, I don't think I can win this game. Because nothing is going for me. And what happened here? The turning point, he got his dragon up into my face on my left flank. I turned Miao Ying into a dragon the previous turn, so I charged him, lost combat with Miao, having done no wounds to his dragon, and he did 1 to me, or 2. Yeah, he did 2 wounds to me. And then on his turn, I body blocked with the dragon. I didn't charge him. He charged me. I turned into a dragon to block his dragon from charging my cannon. That's what it was. So I shapeshifted and then moved. So I was 1 inch in front of his face so he could only see my dragon. He charged me. I lost combat anyway because dice were just not in my favor. I think I finally put 2 wounds on his other dragon with a cannon shot. And then on my following turn, his turn, he fails to finish off Miao Ying. On my turn, I turn her back into a human and heal 3 wounds and get out of his line of sight with the teleport. So now his dragon's kind of just facing nothing on one end, and his other dragon, I've locked it in combat with my strategist, and he's failing to wound the strategist. So I'm feeling okay, maybe I can eke out a 10-10. And then this was the only time this game that I forgot how evasive worked. And I decided to target the dragon with a shot from my lantern with the Sky Crane guns. So the dragon that was facing nothing and couldn't do anything for a full turn now gets to use evasive away from that lantern and then reform and face Miao Ying, who's in human form. And I'm like, oh, that's not good.
No.
She's got 6 wounds left. I've almost healed her to full, but she's got 6 wounds left, but she's in human form. So he's going to get full stomps and everything. She's just going to have a 5-up ward against whatever he does to me. And I don't like this. So he charges her, and I'm just like, I fucked up so bad. That's such a stupid mistake to make. He puts 4 wounds on her, brings her down to 2 wounds remaining. So I got lucky. I ended up rolling the +1 to leadership. So technically her leadership was 11. It removed the -1 from terror. So basically she was rolling on a leadership 10, even though normally it would be a 9, because the +1 and the -1 counteract each other. And I like barely made my leadership test. So I rolled a 6 and anything. Yeah, I needed a 6 or less to give ground. So I got my 6. He follows up. On my turn, I turn back into a dragon and get the fuck away. Like I just like teleport as far away as I can, move down and start magic missiling stuff with my like level 2 dragon. And my Shug Lord marches all the way down into his backline as well. I'm just like, it. I'm going to leave his dragon to kill whatever it can on my backline. All that's left there is a cannon anyway. And then things just start to go right for me turn 5 and 6. My strategist on the balloon escapes his other dragon.
Yep.
And does the whole, like, you can only follow up 2 inches. And I just, like, floated away. I blow away all of his Glade Guard, finally. So that's a bunch of points, the big 17-man unit of Glade Guard. And I'm now in his backline with Miao Ying, and he has to, like, either turn... He has to kind of get his dragons towards me. And then I'm looking at secondary. He's winning secondaries, but only barely. He's held like 2 more objectives than me. And I see a line on my turn 6 where if I had a unit of Jade Lancers on my right flank that were like face to face with his dragon. So it's like, if I plant the Lancers in front of his dragon to force him to charge them and not anything else, challenge, lose combat in such a way that I can escape from him. And then like I had this whole thing worked out where I was like, I'm going to challenge him. Maybe I win combat because of the challenge, because his elf guy doesn't do enough wounds, and then I just win. Or I lose combat and he doesn't catch me on the pursuit if I get a fallback in good order. So these are my 2 options, because my line is, if I fall back in good order or I win combat, I'm going to reform drilled, and I have just enough movement where I can march all the way onto the special feature in the middle, and he doesn't have anything close enough to it to capture it instead. So I'll win that, and I'll win secondary. So I shove my Jade Lancers in his face. He charges them because it's like he just gotta. There's nothing else his dragon can do. I challenge. He accepts, and he chooses to fight instead of with his great weapon, with his hand weapon, because he's hoping not to kill the sergeant, so that his dragon can get all the attacks and do all the damage. He ends up doing 1 wound to my sergeant and killing him. So I win combat. So he gives ground. I choose not to follow up. I make my leadership test. I drill and march 21 inches onto the middle objective. Then Miao Ying turns into human form, gets off all her magic missiles, kills both units of Glade Riders, and finishes off the unit of Deepwood Scouts that had been hiding with like 3 guys left.
Wow.
No, sorry. Yeah. And then my Shug General kills his level 1 Spellweaver that was like hiding behind a forest. And so that turns the game from like him clearly winning to a 16-4 for me. Just capturing the middle objective, I win the game. Killing all that other stuff like puts it way over the edge. But like if you look at the game on paper, like it looks way more one-sided than it actually was. Like he was winning, in my opinion, like right up until that final turn. And I was aiming for a draw that I just like all of the things I tried to do worked. So.
Dang, dude. That sounds like that is a great game.
It was. And like he did, like there were many times, because like even like all his rolls, his saves and everything were so hot. Many times he's like, do you want me to start rolling your dice? And I have to be like, no, dude, it's perfectly fine. Like this is how the game works sometimes. And like I saw him repeatedly, like he would roll a bunch of 5s and 6s, and then he would push them aside purposely and just grab another set of dice, because I think he felt like I thought he was cheating or something. And I was like, no, it's just, this is insane. Like everything you're doing is blowing my mind. So,
well, dude, I'm just happy to hear you had a bunch of intense, fun games where it was only sounds like the first game was just I don't know there's much Empire can do to have a great game into Cathay outside playing, all in Nuln.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I know a lot of people who aren't willing to go and get freaking 27 plus Outriders, so that's totally fair enough. And so, yeah, outside that, like it sounded like people just came ready for Cathay, and you had tough, like intense games, and I'm really happy to hear that. I think that's sweet.
It was really great. I only had Cathay guilt. I had a little Cathay guilt against Theory.
Yeah.
Once I started to table him, and then I had Cathay guilt against my first round opponent. A little bit against Sebastian, but only because of the Meow-Ying teleports. Like the fact that on turn 4, I had like 2 wounds remaining and I was cornered and I was like, I'm going to die. And then the next turn I was like 20 inches away effectively in dragon form and healed. Yeah, that was a lot. I even said to him, I was like, if this was any other army, like your saves, there was no coming back from them. It was just, I'm playing Cathay, so like there's always the chance. So,
dude, nice. All right, so we have the usual post event questions to ask you, and of course the easiest one is like, don't take the Sentinel. It's hottest of garbages.
I think you can make it work, but it's not like if you're going super competitive.
I just don't think it's worth trying to make it work just yet. You just have so many other amazing things to do with your points in Cathay that I just think you should have some self-respect and just take.
I would say it may have helped me get my best overall because I think
true. Yeah.
So the way they calculated best overall, which I did, I think we already buried the lead. I did win best overall at TGX. I didn't get best general. Best general went to the other Cathay player at the event, Carlo. Who's incredible. Carlo and I also brought Orcs and Goblins to the last event, both of us. So it was nice that we followed suit in this one. But Carlo's list was way meaner than mine. He was like triple cannon, and he had 2 battle magic Shug Lords so that they could cause his 2 Sky Lanterns to 2 bombing runs a turn each.
Yeah.
With the movement spell, because the way the bombing run's worded, it's after every normal move. So you just make them move twice and double bomb everybody, which is sick. And that, of course, he wrecked a bunch of people that way. But yeah, so taking the Sentinel, making it a little looser, and then just, trying to be kind in my games. The way they did best overall, it was a combination of battle points, sportsmanship score, and there was a little bit towards paint score. So for paint score, I think I got the middle of the road because I wasn't running my own army, but it was like a painted army.
Yep.
I think I got almost max sports score. And then I believe I had the most battle points of anybody other than Carlo, who was in first place. So that all combined got me my best overall.
Well, congratulations, dude. You are racking these things up. I think it is awesome. Awesome stuff. All right. So
Kevin and I are really slacking over here. You're making us look really bad, Peter.
Well, if you guys went to more events as players instead of as celebrities.
I made my choice.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. Well,
I made.
You and Adam have both definitely have like more name recognition than I ever did. I don't know anybody.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no kidding. What a load of crap.
Danny, I don't know anybody that's never heard of mob rules. Like, even in the streets.
I know lots of people. There's maybe whole like continents or
I don't think that's true.
All right. On that note, Peter, seeing as there's a very obvious things that you would change, and you talked about a handful of mistakes. That doesn't really sound like huge mistakes outside the Sentinel take backseat, which was actually kind of a lovely bit of sportsmanship to highlight. It doesn't sound like you would change much, so we're probably just going to leave it there and head over to part 2, do answer some patron questions and kick it on. But my dudes, anything you guys would like to say before we check out?
There's something I want to say. Kudos to Christopher Gerardo for getting actual best sport at the event. He's the really cool high elf player I played against last time at SBTO, and we had a wonderful time. And he brought Ishaya Vess to the event. He went full Lothern, and that's just awesome.
That is just sick. All right, say your goodbyes, boys. We're out of here.
Yeah, bye-bye.
You've been listening to That Old World Charm with those charming chaps Adam, Danny and Peter the Falcon. Thanks ever so much. Cheerio.